the Knightstown High School versus the Eastern Hancock football game, Eric's last regular season game of his senior year.
Coach's Corner, we're talking with head coach Dave Poff. And coach, you've had a good season. The Royals come into tonight 4-4. What about tonight's game? What do you expect from Knightstown Panthers?
Well, we don't think that they'll try and trick us too much. They're pretty up front. We feel like their offensive line and defensive line are real dominant. They're about as good as we've seen. I think that this is the best Knightstown team that I've seen in 19 years here. They'll run pretty much straight at you. They do a great job defensively against the run. We think that one of the big improvements over their team last year is that they can pass the ball. The Scheinman kid throws the ball so well this year, and last year that was, we thought, kind of a limitation. But they do both things, run and pass, extremely well. Their offensive line destroys people at the line of scrimmage. Their backs don't get touched until they're 10 yards past the line. So we feel like their kids up front are the big thing that they have going for them.
Ball, and it's the squib kick that Kyle's become accustomed to. It goes into the secondary as they come around, and immediately in on the tackle is Kyle Rhodes on the stop for the Knightstown Panthers. Jeremy Weishart on the carry for the Eastern Hancock Royals, and it looks like that the ball is going to be placed at about the 49-yard line of Knightstown. Well, we'll see how the defense rises to the occasion as Eastern Hancock has come out and ready to play football. Eastern Hancock now have four wideouts coming out to the left, three to the left side and one to the right. Simmons is going in motion. There's the snap. Hardy to pass, and immediately the ball is deflected in. On the deflection is Josh Plank, and Josh really got a good piece of Hardy that time as he took him down behind the line, but not before Hardy was able to get the pass off. Well, if that's any indication of what kind of a standoff's going to be at the front line, Knightstown had about 7 people in the backfield, and their entire defensive line firing off the football. So Knightstown is looking good off the second play here in the first quarter. And that ball is placed at about the 42-yard line of Eastern, folks. I got it wrong a while ago. We've got 3 wideouts out there for Eastern. Hardy back to pass, looking long, but he looked too long. Josh Plank in again with a big, solid hit on Hardy as he takes him out, and he did not see the truck coming that time. So Weishart in on the fumble recovery as Josh Plank very, very hard in there and all over Hardy. Did you get the license plate of that truck? I didn't even see the 18 wheels, let me tell you. What a pop by Josh Plank. He came from the blind side, and Hardy never saw him coming, so it brings up a 3rd and long for Eastern. Game just underway, no score from Eastern Hancock. The ball at the 37-yard line of Eastern Hancock now as Hardy looking around, making sure his 3 wideouts are set wide to his right as he starts to call the signals. Off looking immediately, passing long and passing too long to the intended receiver, Adam Richardson. So in on the coverage that time in the area was Craig Ritchie for Knightstown, but no problem as the ball was way overthrown to Richardson, and also over on that side, Ian Hayes. Well, once again, Knightstown having good pressure in the backfield. They rushed Hardy, and he overthrew the intended receiver, which was Richardson, by a good 5 to 6 yards. So Eastern's going to punt the football for the first time. All right, the Knightstown unit now ready for this defensive move against this offensive line as we have Richardson ready to kick the ball. He gets the ball away. It is a pretty good kick that's going to come down to around the 20-yard line, 18-yard line of Knightstown as it took an Eastern bounce, and the Knightstown Panthers will be taking over on their own 18-yard line. Punter was Brinson for Eastern Hancock. We have 10:58 left to play in this first quarter of action here. Oh, trying to get it over, huh? Yes, I am. It's a little nippy here with this door open. Tailback will be Ian Hayes replacing Ryan Johnson. Eric Scheinman, though, our usual quarterback, is right there and under the gun calling the duty as Hayes carries the ball and picks up about 3 yards, looked like. Possibly could have been a fumble on that play, but I believe it's still the Knightstown possession as Ian Hayes, the first carry of the evening, picks up 2 yards for the Knightstown Panthers. Knightstown back in the huddle now, and the entire offensive unit holding hands and contemplating this next play, showing the unity that they've shown all year. Eric Scheinman bringing everybody up to the line, Plank. Josh Plank is lining up as the wideout this evening as Shyman calls the signals. Hands off to the second man through, I believe, and let's see who that was that time. Looks like Drew Crawford on the carry. Drew Crawford on the carry for the Knightstown Panthers, picking up 3 yards. And the defensive line of Eastern Hancock, very quick. They were back in there on Shyman, but almost overran the play as Drew Crawford was able to pick up a few yards there for the Panthers. Josh Plank at the wide right position again as Shyman calls the signals. The back goes Shyman, looking long, looking over to the right side, complete to Josh Plank, who has run out of bounds at the 35-yard line of the Knightstown Panthers. A very, very nice pass play from Eric Shyman to Josh Plank.
Plank picks up 10 on the play from Shyman, and Shyman again threading that needle, and that's exactly what Coach Dave Pfaff was worried about, as he said Shyman is throwing the football very, very well, and Plank hauls it in for a 10-yard gain, so Knightstown gets their first down of the ball game.
The ball is on the 35-yard line of Knightstown as they start to march this ball just a little bit now. Eric Shyman calling the signals again out there, set in a split-back situation. Hayes going around the left side, running long, running wide, starting to turn the corner, and picks up, it looks like, about 2.5, 3 yards on the play. So Ian Hayes in the position of Ryan Johnson this evening, running the ball and running it well. There's another thing that we have going for the Knightstown Panthers, I believe. Not only the conditioning, but the versatility. We take these kids out of a position they've been in all year and put them somewhere else and they get the job done.
Well, that shows you how versatile they really are.
Again, Josh Plank coming wide to the right, setting up in the pass procedure as Eric Shyman now receives the ball. Hands off to Ritchie. It looked like it possibly would have been a broken play, and it's a loss of 2 yards for the Panthers as Ritchie could not get his steps going, as I believe, again, it was a broken play that time.
Well, Ritchie caught in the backfield, and he's going to lose a couple of yards, so Knightstown's going to face a 3rd and 9. And Ritchie, a little bit out of water, as we said last week, loving to run the football, but he just hasn't had that much experience or practice at it other than in the actual practice situation. Game situations, as we know, is a little bit different than in scrimmages and practice.
8:09 on the clock as it continues to run here with the Knightstown Panthers at about the 36-7-yard line of Knightstown. Shyman back looking to pass, looking over into the right flat, lets the ball go. It's to Josh Plank, and Josh makes the reception on the football. Very, very tough play for Josh Plank as he was stretched and laid out all the way, but pulled that ball in and caught it, picking up 11 yards and another first down for the Knightstown Panthers. The works of Shyman and Plank looking very good this evening.
How many times have you seen one of the Knightstown receivers stretch out and lay that body out to catch the pass? We've seen Hayes do it, we've seen Ritchie do it, now we see Josh Plank do it.
Yeah, the kids are giving up of themselves just to make this team click, and they are really clicking again this evening as they have all year. Looks like the ball is at about the 48, 49-yard line of Knightstown. Ritchie goes into motion to the left. It's a handoff to Crawford, who is hit immediately at the line but digs for a few more yards. So Drew Crawford out there picking up yardage as he is brought down by John Schneider of the Eastern Hancock Royals. It looks like Drew Crawford has picked up 2 yards, facing a 2nd and 10 situation here with 7:12 left to play in this first quarter, as a little bit of confusion there in the backfield again, I believe, on that play as it started, but Drew Crawford was hit at the line and still picked up 2 yards on the play. Running out of the power eye now as Shyman hands off to the first man through, I believe it was, second man through, Craig Ritchie. Picking up another first down for the Knightstown Panthers out there. We have a flag at the point of the down. Drew Crawford's motioning will take it, so it looks like the Knightstown Panthers are going to pick up a little gift of yardage there besides the 1st and 10 that they pick up. It looks like a man through Ian Hayes, and he is stopped almost immediately at the line by Adam Richardson of the Eastern Hancock Royals. A nice move on the handoff, but Richardson and also Matt Simmons in on the stop for Eastern Hancock. Almost grabbed Ian Hayes right at the line. Looks like he may have picked up a yard, though, the way they've spotted the ball down there. So facing a 2nd and 9 situation here. Hayes has 3 carries for 5 yards, and the clock is at 5:56 in this first quarter. And the Knightstown Panther faithful over there watching this game intently as they brought the band along this evening. Shyman looking now, rolling out pass left, throws the ball out into the left flat. Drew Crawford on the reception. Drew ran back a couple yards and then took off to his left, running the ball straight ahead. In on the stop for Eastern Hancock, Weishart in on the stop for Eastern Hancock. But again, Drew Crawford running a route over into the left flat, picked up 4 yards on that particular carry. So at 5:17 and a 3rd and 5 situation facing the Panthers here with the ball at approximately the 19 or 19.5 yard line of Eastern Hancock. Crawford ran a lot of ground, only get 4 yards, didn't he? Really did. He ran to round about there, but he still picked up yardage. Very seldom does Drew Crawford touch that ball that he doesn't pick up some yardage. We have a timeout called.
Well, we got one flag and one official signals timeout, and we'll see what they'll say. The field judge says it's a timeout, so I guess that's what it'll be. So with that, we will take a quick 30-second break. You're listening to Panther Football on Young Country 90.7 FM.
The things I most enjoy doing in my time away from work are baking for my kids and programming the attack routes for a Tomahawk cruise missile.
52% of our nation's armed forces are made up of people like you and me. They're Guard and Reserve members. To continue, they need the support of their employers. So if you have employees in the Guard and Reserve, be a hero. Give them the freedom to protect ours.
Okay, kids. Ballin' for cookies!
A message from employer support of the Guard and Reserve and Ad Council.
The Knightstown Panthers moving deeper into Eastern Hancock territory as they call a timeout to just renegotiate what they're doing and get everything running for them here. Have run out.
Drew Crawford saw something that he didn't like. I don't know if Knightstown might have been a man short, but Crawford quickly recognized it and called the timeout.
Well, again, we have Josh Plank going right to the right. And he really is. Eric Shyman hands off to Crawford, and Crawford is stopped immediately by a host of Eastern Hancock players. Weishart on the bottom for Eastern Hancock as Drew Crawford unable to get his legs moving underneath him that time before he is hit.
Well, very good pursuit by Eastern Hancock into the backfield. Knightstown not having much luck coming off that front line in the last couple of plays as Eastern has started to settle down a little bit after the first couple of possessions. Knightstown pushed them back, and now they've kind of dug in. Facing a 4th and 5 situation here with 4:23 left to play in the first quarter. Knightstown in a do-or-die situation with the ball at about the 20-yard line still. Shyman coming back, looking to pass into the right flat. Throws long. Ritchie's open, but overthrew him. So Craig Ritchie running a route out wide to the right was overthrown that time by Eric Shyman. He actually had the defender beat, but Shyman led him just a little too much, and Knightstown not having really too much to give up on that one as it's as good as a punt. So Eastern will take over with 4:12 left here in the first quarter of action.
There's the snaps. Hand off to the second man through, and Richardson is hit almost immediately as he comes into the Knightstown line there. Richardson running a route over the right side. Jim Carmichael in on the stop for the Knightstown Panthers. So the ball looks like now is going to be placed at about the 23, 4-yard line of the Eastern Hancock Royals. On a motion route and then stopped. He is the ball carrier, and he is hit at the line and hit very, very hard. Coming up out of the stack there on Richardson. Joe Quiz also in on that stop that time. Ben Brooks and Quiz and Brooks are two individuals, when they hit you, you know you have been hit. These guys have been in that weight room, and they're ready to play.
Joe Quiz right at home as he plays over the defensive side of the football. He's the center, so he's in a natural position, just changing sides.
Joe Quiz put the helmet on. He's right at home out there on a football field. Mike Hardy now calling the signals again for Eastern. Hands off to a reversal. White coming around, and he is hit. He's grabbed and thrown to the ground by Kyle Rhodes as he tried to come around the left side and picked up a little bit of yardage there that time on that particular end-around run there. And Carmichael in on the stop also for the Knightstown Panthers as 2:34 on the clock as it's still ticking away in a 4th and 1 situation here for the Eastern Hancock Royals, and they have elected to kick. I Back deep we have Ian Hayes for the Knightstown Panthers. There's the snap. Brinson is the punter. The ball gets away from him. He is hit. There's a fumble, and Knightstown now recovered and in great field position, folks, at about the 12-yard line, looks like. Brooks in on the coverage for the Knightstown Panthers as the ball was fumbled by the Eastern Hancock kicker, Brinson. So Knightstown doing what they do best, just out there playing hard-nosed rock'em sock'em football in this first quarter, and Knightstown in a position here where they can score and take a lead into this second quarter of action as the ball is handed off to Ian Hayes going over the right side, and Ian picks up about 2 to 3 yards. Looks like he may be down to the 12 of Eastern Hancock. So this first quarter of action with 1:55 left to play here, as the Knightstown Panthers in a position to where they can move right into a scoring position here with a 2nd and 7 situation facing them. Hayes picked up 3 on that particular carry. Ritchie and Plank to the left as the snap is made. Handoff is to Hayes, and he is hit almost immediately. Sean Weddle of the Eastern Hancock Royals in on the stop, and a very nice tackle by Sean Weddle out there for Eastern Hancock.
Well, those 3 that Ian picked up a moment ago just went back to naught as he was thrown for a 3-yard loss. So it brings up a 3rd and 10, and again, Knightstown inside the red zone, not having a lot of success here in the first quarter. We're down to 1:08 to play, and the Panthers face a 3rd and 10. So as we bring the Knightstown Panthers up to the line, going wide left is Josh Plank. Ritchie set to the left in the slot position. The snap is made. Shyman looking, throwing now long, and the ball is overthrown out into the left flat area to Josh Plank. So Knightstown now in a 4th and 10 situation here with 49 seconds left to play in this first quarter. Well, do you let Josh try to kick one?
Yeah. Let's let Josh kick.
I would. I mean, it's as good as a punt, so unfortunately he was the intended receiver, so it's going to take a couple minutes to get back into the huddle, but Shyman and Knightstown actually going to go for it on 4th and long.
So the Knightstown Panthers getting into a position here where they're going to have to go ahead and make the score this time on this particular play, 4th and 10, as we have 49 seconds left as Shyman is calling the signals. Plank is wide to the left. Shyman comes out, looking back inside, throws inside, and I believe we have an incomplete pass. Jared Roberts in on the coverage for the Royals, but the pass is ruled incomplete as Plank was coming from his left side back to the right and couldn't make the grab.
Very near the goal line, so it might have been a touchback anyway, but it's going to be Eastern Hancock's football, and it looks like it's going to be right at the 14.5, almost the 15-yard line. So
the line then hold off. We have a pitch out to Sean Weddle as he tries to turn the right side, and Josh Plank will not let that happen. Josh Plank in on the stop for Knightstown with a very good hit out there.
Excellent containment by Knightstown. Josh Plank plays his defensive end very well, as does Ben Brooks. The containment is always there, and that time Plank was right in the position to throw the ball carrier Weddle to the ground. So on the loss, he loses 3, brings up a 2nd and 13.
So the Eastern Hancock Royals in about the same situation as the Knightstown Panthers, just having a tough time running this football at the defensive unit that the respective team is facing, as we're down to 3 seconds. The snap is made, and the ball carrier was Richardson for Eastern Hancock as the clock runs out of time in this first quarter of action. Kyle Rhodes in there like a madman. Hardy hit, but not before we have a completed pass to Matt Simmons out around the 34-yard line of the Eastern Hancock Royals, and a 24-yard pass completion there by the quarterback Hardy to Matt Simmons of the Eastern Hancock Royals. And the play was a very sharp, crisp play from Hardy, and a good play by the Eastern Royals as they now have a 1st and 10 situation with the ball at the 33.5, 34-yard line of Eastern. Mike Hardy now again ready to set his troops into motion as the Knightstown defensive unit getting a wake-up call here and seeing what the offense can run from Eastern, but Carmichael all of a sudden puts an end to that as Richardson, the ball carrier, starts around the right side, and Carmichael in and hitting him very, very hard on his third tackle of the evening. Jim Carmichael out there playing with a vengeance tonight as he came in and really made a solid hit on the ball carrier that time as he was attempting an end around.
Knightstown looking very good again on the containment on the defensive side of things. Knightstown having to turn the thing toward the middle, and they've been very successful.
Mike Hardy again trying to set this ball in motion in the slot formation. Comes back, hands off to Weddle, and Weddle is brought down almost immediately again at the line of scrimmage. Getting up there, Joe Quiz for the Knightstown Panthers is got his second tackle on the evening as he wraps up Weddle and brings him right down to the ground with the ball at about the 30-yard line of Eastern Hancock. So we're facing a 3rd and 14 situation here with 10:24 left in this second quarter. 2 wideouts set for Eastern as Hardy comes back, looks over the left side to pass, throws the ball up high. Could have very easily been an interference call that time intended for Simmons, but no flag on the field.
It looked like there might have been contact against Knightstown, and they let it go.
Was very, very close out there as it looked like a hit might have taken place before the ball got there.
Brings up a 3rd and 14 for Eastern. As Knightstown doing actually a 4th and 14 for Eastern, as Knightstown doing a good job on the pass coverage. And once again back to punt for Eastern Hancock is Weishart.
So with 10:15 left to play here in this second quarter, Brinson has the ball and kicks it out of bounds at approximately the 45-yard line of the Eastern Hancock Royals. So Knightstown getting a gimme there and a thank you as they will put the ball in play possibly at about the 45-yard line, I think, or somewhere along in there.
It looks like it's going to be closer to about the 35.
And the slot formation being used, the handoff made to Crawford as he rumbles up the field for a nice pickup on a handoff from Shyman. 7 yards picked up that time by Drew Crawford as he carries the ball. Weishart in on the stop. Jeremy Weishart seeing a lot of action out there this evening for the Royals as he runs in and grabs Mr. Crawford and brings him down, but not before a 7-yard gain as we are down to 9:44 left to play here in this second quarter of action at Eastern Hancock. Going into motion, Ian Hayes to the left, handing off to the second man through Crawford, who is hit immediately and possibly for a loss of a half to a yard there on the play. Bringing down Crawford is John Schneider for the Eastern Hancock Royals as a lot of that traffic going up the middle tonight is not working out there.
No, Knightstown's had good luck running up the middle, but this time Eastern Hancock has scouted and watched game film very, very well, and Knightstown not having much luck. They've had actually more success going outside.
Craig Ritchie coming wide to the left side as Josh Plank pulls in tight to the line on the other receiver going from the power eye as Eric Shyman calls the signals again. Hands off to the second man, Drew Crawford, who gets absolutely nothing out there. The entire line of Eastern Hancock collapsing in on Drew Crawford as he tries to make a run to the right of the quarterback. Eric Shyman back looking to pass. Fake right to the right, then throws long and overthrows the intended receiver. Again, he was there, but I don't know whether he slipped or what happened.
It looked like Shyman threw behind him, and he turned Ritchie all the way around. Craig Ritchie was wide open. It got behind the defender, but Shyman not being able to tap in on the pass, so Eastern Hancock will take over on about the 26.5-yard line.
Eric will probably get on cue here after a bit. He's just had some passes go long on him this evening. I don't know whether the ball's floating on him. It could be a lighting situation out here that's a little different to what he's accustomed to, but Eric is 3 for 5 for 25 this evening, and that's not bad in the passing department, but Eric's normally much, much sharper than that. As Hardy comes back, looks to the right to pass, and Josh Plank just coming up and showing him that entire body takes that ball out of play there. So Josh Plank just getting up in the face of Mike Hardy and that ball bouncing off Josh's chest and no gain. Jason Mike Hardy now trying to move this football from the 26-27 yard line, has 3 wideouts to the left side of the field as he comes back and hands off to the first ball carrier through. We have a flag on the field, and Broadwater, the ball carrier for Eastern Hancock, and he was brought down by Jim Carmichael that time, but the flag's on the field. action here with 7:34 left to play in this second quarter, and that one still got me befuddled. I don't know what's happening here. Should be 3rd and 5, but it's there we go. We have a draw play, and it goes nowhere as Weddle as the ball carrier out there, and he cannot get any movement at all. Jason Chapman in on the initial hit with Ben Brooks coming in thereafter and putting Weddle to the ground as the ball is placed at about the 29.5-yard line now. A loss of 2 yards out there for the Royals. Brinson is back to punt as going back deep for Knightstown. Ian Hayes getting into position now. The snap, another bad snap, blow onto the ground. Brinson gets the ball off, but it's going out of bounds, and I'm not going to second guess this one. I'll wait until they spot it this time.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to spot it at about the Knightstown 45.
We have Eric Scheinman getting his team ready to go. Crawford in motion to the right, and the pitch out is made to Landon Collop, who makes a couple of stutter steps and picks up nothing on the play as he is hit at the line of scrimmage to the right. And coming in there is Jeremy Weishart, one of the Eastern players in on the stop for the Royals as he picked up a yard on that particular carry, but he was hit immediately at the line, Landon Collop, but able to pick up a yard for the Panthers.
First time we've seen him coming out of the backfield, 9.
6:11 left to play, and the clock is counting here in this second quarter, and the Knightstown Panthers trying to mount some momentum here and get it going. And we have a quarterback sneak, and Eric Scheinman picking up about 5 yards on the carry that time. That was the one of the same plays that Eric ran a few weeks ago and really picked up some long yardage on.
Yeah, he ran that a couple weeks ago and got 66 yards out of it, and that time he turns it up and gets 5. So it brings up a 3rd and 3 for Knightstown. Ball just across the 50-yard line at the Eastern Hancock 47.
5:36 left to play, and the clock running here as Knightstown in the huddle a long time that time after Eric Scheinman had gone over and talked with Coach Don Willard. Now getting set to play. Knightstown gets the play off. Crawford on the carry. Looks like a pickup maybe of 2 yards there. It's very, very close to the first down, but looks like it may be short by about a half a yard. So Knightstown will be facing a 4th and inches situation here with 5 minutes left to play.
Well, you think they'll go for it?
Hancock defensive unit playing very, very well this evening, as most of the teams we faced this year, we have ground them down by now and started to really move the ball, but Eastern holding tight in there as the handoff is made to the second man through, and I'm sure that he picked up the first down that time. Landon Collins on the carry for Knightstown, and in on the stop, Jeremy Weishart for the Eastern Hancock Royals, and there's the signal, first down, Knightstown. Have the Eastern Hancock Royals really stopping this running game, and we haven't got our passing game on sync yet as Ian Hayes goes in motion to the left. Scheinman looking straight down the center. Long throw and an interception by Eastern Hancock. Andy LaForge on the interception for Eastern Hancock. A beautiful, beautiful catch on the part of Andy LaForge there as he intercepts that Knightstown pass that was long down the center of the field. In on the stop for Knightstown, Ian Hayes.
Sherman underthrew that football. LaForge made a heck of a play on it, reached up with one arm and brought it in. But Eric not pinpointing on the pass tonight, as he has been either underthrown or throwing behind the intended receivers, and the passing game just not clicking for Knightstown.
So with that ball at the Eastern Hancock 25-yard line, with 4:05 left to play in the second quarter, 15 left to play again in this second quarter of action, a 4th and 1 situation facing the Royals as they are bunched in tight on that quarterback. Harding trying to call an offsides for Knightstown. They're not moving, and we have a very long count here and a timeout being called by Eastern. The entire intent of that particular play was to call the Knightstown Panthers offside and Brinson, and it doesn't look like that there's any type of a play here that's going to transpire other than that. Here comes the rush. There's the kick that's up. Chapman almost in there to get his hands on it, but couldn't make it as the ball once more goes out of bounds and bounces out at the 43-yard line of Knightstown.
Jason blocking that punt. Again, good burst off the football across the defensive line into the backfield. Brinson very fortunate to get it off. If that had been a bad snap,
Chapman would have had the block. We absolutely would have. We have 2:09 left to play here in this second quarter, and the Knightstown Panthers will be taking over the football on their 37-yard line and trying to advance that ball and get in for at least one score here before the half is over with. Knightstown coming up to the line now as we have Ritchie going wide right, Plank set in tight to the left. We have the split backs as the handoff is to the second man through, and that's Drew Crawford running into one of his own people, but still on his feet and carrying the ball and picking up the first down. So maybe after a 13-yard pickup by Drew Crawford, the Knightstown unit will come to life now and start to take this ball down deep into the Eastern Hancock Royal territory.
That's the longest run from scrimmage for Knightstown tonight. Crawford picking up 13 yards, 1st and 10, under 2 minutes to play in the half. Knightstown trying to get a score before the half expires.
So with the ball at the 48.5-yard line of Eastern Hancock, we have the power I formation set up as Shyman hands off to the Crawford, the second man through, and Drew Crawford again carrying the ball for a nice pickup for the Panthers as he is brought down by Tyler Smith out there. The snap is made, the handoff is to Crawford, and he is stopped immediately by Sean Weddle. Maybe we went to the well once too often there as Drew Crawford hit at the line of scrimmage by Sean Weddle, and a loss of a yard there. They're placing the ball down now. We have a 4th and 4 situation here, and the clock really starting to ring down now with 49 seconds as Knightstown going to have to hurry to get in there on a touchdown play if we can before this first half of action is over. Shyman back to pass, being rushed very, very heavily and having to throw the ball away almost. Dustin Broadwater in on the pressure against Eric Shyman as he really scampered backwards trying to get away from the defenders, but finally just had to let the ball go. And now once again we have a timeout in Knightstown. Further timeout, 4th and 4 with 32 seconds left to go in this second quarter of action as Shyman now getting things set out there and getting the Knightstown team ready to go as we have Landon Collop in motion. Pitch out to Drew Crawford, who throws a halfback pass long downfield, and we have a catch and a touchdown, Craig Ritchie. So the Knightstown Panthers on a 43-yard pass play from Crawford to Ritchie set up a beautiful touchdown play. So with 24 seconds left to play here in this second quarter, Knightstown goes up on the board 6-0 against these Eastern Hancock Royals. A beautiful play there as Eric Shyman pitched the ball out to the right to Drew Crawford. Drew pulled up, threw the ball long, 43 yards to Craig Ritchie for the touchdown.
Well, it looked like Crawford threw the ball higher, and Ritchie slowed up, but finally the ball kept carrying, and Ritchie ran underneath it and scored on a 43-yard bomb.
So Knightstown, I believe, called a timeout there as we're getting ready for this extra point try here, wondering what it's going to be ourselves. So I guess Drew's contention out there this evening is if I can't pick up any yardage on the ground, I'll just throw it.
You know Ryan Johnson has got to be chomping at the bit to be in this.
Yeah, I imagine that they've got a big rope on Ryan Johnson over there because he is the rest of those Knightstown players. Any of them, if they would be injured, they'd want to be out there on the field and playing. So Knightstown going for the extra point here with Josh Plank back and ready to kick. The ball's down, the kick is up, and I think we have a no. It was missed to the left as Knightstown was headed west that time. And so with 24 seconds left to play, the Knightstown Panthers up 6-0 against these Eastern Hancock Royals.
That's one of the few times you'll see books. Knightstown on top, 6-0. We'll take a 3-minute timeout and come right back with some unofficial halftime stats. The passing department had some problems in the first half, but give credit to Eastern Hancock as they had good pressure on Shyman in the backfield pretty much all the first half. 3 of 7 for only 25 yards. Drew Crawford, however, having a little bit better luck throwing the football. He threw it one time for 43 yards, and that's how Knightstown scored as Crawford took a quick pitch from Shyman. Shyman threw the ball to Crawford around the right end. Crawford threw a halfback option down to Craig Ritchie for a 43-yard strike with 24 seconds left to play in the half. And, of course, the point after attempt failed by Josh Plank, and that's our halftime score, 6-0.
Sean Weddle out there getting things set and getting ready to kick off to an Ian Hayes and a Craig Ritchie as the ball goes to the right side of the field to Hayes at the 16. He starts advancing the ball upfield up to the 35, the 40, the 45, the 50, the 48-yard line. So Ian Hayes into the Eastern Hancock territory with the ball at the 48-yard line for a 37-yard return. Ian Hayes grabbed that ball up and took off with it, and there he is.
Ian Hayes, again, 1 or 2 blockers away from popping a big one, and we've talked about that all season. He is always 1 or 2 blockers away, but he's right on the edge.
Well, Ian Hayes all year, has been playing in a shadow a little bit, so to speak. He has really come into his own, and all of a sudden, each game, boom, Ian Hayes breaks a big one, and he did so there tonight on that kickoff at the beginning of the third quarter. We have Ritchie in the slot out there as the ball is handed off to Crawford. The first man through going over the right side picks up 1 yard as Eric Scheinman heading to that sideline now to pick up the information from Coach Willard. Schneider in on the stop for Eastern Hancock that time as the Royals still not letting this running game of Knightstown get away from them any bit of the way. So Scheinman now has the information that he needed. He's coming back up to the line. Out of the I formation, we have Drew Crawford will be the first man through as the ball is handed off to Ian Hayes, and Hayes is knocked for a loss, looks like, of about 3 yards there. Jeremy Weishart in the stop for the Eastern Hancock Royals as Knightstown getting an awakening here from this Eastern Hancock Royal unit at the start of the second half as they did at the beginning of the game.
Well, Knightstown very fortunate because it looked like Josh Plank jumped on the right side. No flag on the play. The officials didn't see it, so Knightstown gets a break. They still lost 3 yards, but it's better than 5, I guess.
10:45, and the clock is running here in this third quarter of action. The Knightstown Panthers up 6-0 over the Eastern Hancock Royals. Scheinman has the ball, back to pass, looking over the right side, throws the ball to Plank, and it is caught by Josh Plank at about the 35-yard line. So a nice pass play from Eric Scheinman to Josh Plank, and if that's any indication of that 14-yard pickup, shows that Eric Scheinman is back on track with that passing game.
Well, Knightstown not missing much out on the receiving side of things. Craig Ritchie doing a good job, but Plank reeling in some big passes, and it looks like Plank looks like the guy to go to on the pass receiver, although Craig Ritchie has got the only touchdown tonight.
Well, Josh Plank, really a big target out there to go to, and he is split wide to the left this time as we have Crawford and Hayes back in the back position. The snap of the ball, handoff to Hayes, the second man through, and he maybe picks up a yard out there as that Eastern Hancock Royal line collapses immediately on him. Jeremy Weishart, a name we've spoke often of here of Eastern Hancock, in on the stop initially, that time for the Royals, as the running game of Knightstown just seems to be about a half step off this evening.
Well, all they can do is chip away at this little 1 and 2 and 3 yard gains. Again, not having much of a big ground game, the longest being a 13-yard scamper by Crawford in the second quarter. But Hayes just kind of chipping away at that front line, but Eastern's doing a good job on containment.
9:29 and the clock running with a 2nd and 9 situation here in the third quarter out of the T formation. The handoff to Crawford as he is undetected into the secondary, and looks like Drew Crawford gets the ball down to the 21-yard line, just about. The 21-yard line of the Eastern Hancock Royals. So a quick count and handoff to Drew Crawford, and he picks up 12 yards and very undetected until he got into the secondary, and it was as if somebody said, hey, he's got the football.
Scheinman doing a good job on the fake coming out of the backfield as he faked both to Hayes and to Ritchie, and Crawford had the football the whole time.
Plank wide to the left now, set in the backfield, Ian Hayes and Drew Crawford. As Craig Ritchie goes into motion to the left, the handoff is to Drew Crawford on the right side, and Richardson in on the stop for the Royals as Drew Crawford picks up, looks like about 3 yards on the play. And with 8:45 left to play here in the third quarter, Knightstown still up 6-0 with a 2nd and 8 situation facing them here, and the Knightstown Panthers starting to move the football.
Well, this is where Knightstown's got to get the ball in the end zone. Come sectional time, they can't get into the red zone and down near the 20 without scoring.
No, and twice this evening, Eastern Hancock able to hold them off handily down there in that red zone as, again, it's Ian Hayes, the second man through, still on his feet running. He has a touchdown, I believe, Oh, very close. They got him short that time of the touchdown, but a great, great run by Ian Hayes as he took through the line, was grabbed, spun to his right, and took the ball down to the 4-yard line of Eastern Hancock. A 14-yard run by Ian Hayes off of the handoff of Eric Scheinman, and again, it just didn't look smooth there on that particular play. Something is wrong out there.
What sprung Hayes that time, again, was the good faking by Eric Scheinman, because Eastern went for the first and the second fake, and Hayes burst into the secondary.
Well, Eric Scheinman is great in that category of faking that ball. Now we're running out of the T formation. Scheinman calling the signals with that ball at the 4-yard line. It's a long count. The snap is finally made. We have a quarterback sneak, and Scheinman, I believe, is caught maybe after a pickup of a yard, it looks like. Tyler Smith in on the stop for the Eastern Hancock Royals. So we are facing a situation here of maybe, a yard, 2 yards, and goal at 7:28, and the clock is running here with the third quarter of action, and the Panthers ahead 6-0, a second and goal situation here from the 3-yard line as Knightstown comes set. We have Josh Plank wide to the right. The staggered back formation as the snap is up. Crawford is in with the ball, and there is a Knightstown touchdown. So Drew Crawford in on the handoff from Scheinman over the right side, picks up the second touchdown of the evening for the Knightstown Panthers with 7:07 left to play in the third quarter. Knightstown goes up for the moment 12-0.
Well, that's the kind of ball control offense Knightstown is accustomed to, and they come out in the third quarter just as they have in the first 7 games, or earlier 7 games of the season, and march the ball down the field. And Knightstown draws blood here early in the third quarter, 12-0. And now we'll have to wait and see if they go for 2 to get back on track.
Well, that's absolutely right, and this is the type of play we were expecting coming out of the chute in the first quarter, as we are going for 2, as Scheinman is calling the signals down there. The snap is made. It looks like we have a pass out into the left flat to Plank, and it is knocked away by Andy LaForge. A very, very good play by the defensive unit of Eastern Hancock, and more especially that of Andy LaForge.
Well, Josh Plank was there, but LaForge made a heck of a recovery and slapped the ball away. So Andy LaForge got up in the air and denied the 2-point conversion. So Knightstown actually sticking with a 12-point advantage. Knightstown, again, not looking sharp in the backfield, though, as they come off the handoff. Scheinman getting the ball there, but it just doesn't look like the confidence level is as high as it has been running through the backfield in the first 7 games.
You know what I think it is? And I'm very, very serious. I think these kids are wanting to close this out for Coach Willard so bad.
Maybe they're trying too hard.
I think they're very tentative on what they're doing this evening, and I just because we've seen them all year, and I don't think that they're afraid of this Eastern Hancock unit. They respect them, but the thing of it is they're not running as smooth out there on those handoffs and everything, and I think they're just wanting to win this one so bad for Coach Willard that the nerves are up a little bit. We have Wesley Broadwater back to receive the kick, and also Josh Schneider as the kick is away by Kyle Rhodes. The kick was made, another one of those squib kicks by Kyle that is put him in excellent position. Sean Weddle, the ball carrier for Eastern, and it's at the 22-yard line of Eastern. Great thing about that, when that ball got to Weddle just shy of his hands, it bounced up over his head. Garrett Guillaume in on the stop for the Panthers as Knightstown and the kicker, Kyle Rhodes, have the ball spotted at the 23-yard line of the Eastern Hancock Royals. Mike Hardy now trying to get this Eastern offense rolling as the Knightstown defense is set, and they look of attitude out there. They're a little sharper than they were in that first half. Ball carrier Richardson going over the right side and is stopped almost immediately by a host of those Knightstown players. Looks like being led out there by Josh Plank and also Jim Carmichael in on the stop, as it looks like a pickup maybe of 2 yards out there, and they're showing 2nd and 9 on the clock with 6:39 and the clock running here in this third quarter of action. Knightstown up 12-0. Plank has 4 tackles on the evening for the Panthers as Mike Hardy once again tries to mount the offense and get it running here. Hardy on a long signal count this time and getting this team set up. Comes back, hands off to Simmons going around the right side, and Simmons is brought down over on the right side of the line by a host of those Knightstown players again. But Travis Rivers initially in on the stop for the Panthers, as Simmons may be able to pick up a half or a yard out there, and they are facing a 3rd and 8 situation here with 6 minutes and counting left to play in this third quarter of action at the Eastern Hancock Royal Field. 3rd and 8 situation as the Royals, with Mike Hardy trying to get them moving with 4 wideouts here, drops backs to pass, throws over into the left flat, and does not get anything mounted, but Jim Carmichael just in and eating up Mike Hardy like a dirty shirt out.
How many times this season have we seen Kyle Rhodes fake on the blitz and then actually come in there if the defense or if the nose guard or tackle or whoever picks him up, somebody else is in the backfield? Rhodes was coming on a blitz, and it looked like Carmichael and Quiz got inside, even though Rhodes was stood up at the line of scrimmage, so it brings up a 4th and 8 for Eastern.
Well, they get themselves in a situation where they've got to stop Kyle, and if they think that he's coming, why, they are in trouble. Hayes back at the 50 now, awaiting this kick from Brinson. It comes down, almost stops immediately at the 48-yard line. So Knightstown going to take over the ball on their own 48-yard line with 5:31 left to play here in the third quarter, and the Knightstown Panthers up 12-0.
Good field position once again. Brinson had a good kick, and Hayes very smart to run away from the football, because if it would bounce and touch him, then it's a fair ball. The football, because if it would bounce and touch him, then it's a fair ball. And Eastern back to contain the football very, very quickly. So Ian Hayes did a good job of just letting that one bounce and come to a stop. So with 5:31 to play here in the third, Knightstown on top, 12-0. Once again, Scheinman will come out and try to keep the offense motivated here in this very chilly Friday night.
It certainly is. I'm right here by the door, and let me tell you, it's cold, sports fans. As the Knightstown Panthers trying to get set up here and go into action. I think we had a gear problem down there, maybe a chin strap or something. Joe Quiz having a little problem there with that helmet. Now he's got it all fixed up, and the Knightstown team packed in tight, running out of the power eye. As the snap is made, the ball is handed off to Crawford, the first man through. He cuts over the left side, now going down the left sideline, and is finally taken out of bounds at about the 15-yard line by Andy LaForge, but not until Drew Crawford has picked up some great yardage for the Knightstown Panthers. Drew Crawford taking that ball off the handoff, scampering over to the left sideline and just turning on the afterburners and picking up the first down for the Panthers. A 34-yard carry by Drew Crawford.
Well, that'll help the stats. Crawford very close to another 100-yard performance, and if he gets 100 yards tonight, he's going to push him over the 1,000-yard mark for the year.
Eric Scheinman calling signals again, has 2 wide out to the left as the ball is snapped. Crawford on the carry again, taking the ball right up the middle and almost getting into the goal line of the Eastern Hancock Royals. And here once again, for those of you on that radio, the word is conditioning. The Knightstown Panthers have come out. They are starting the second half as if they are fresh into the football game, into the first quarter, and a great pickup by Drew Crawford.
17-yard run by Crawford, and that definitely puts him over 100 for the night. We'll get you some unofficial stats here shortly.
So with 5:05 on the clock in this third quarter and a first and goal situation, the Knightstown Panthers threatening again to score here as a great fake by Eric Scheinman, hands off to Drew Crawford, and I'm sorry, but it just caught everybody off guard. It looked like he was pitching the ball back to Ian Hayes, and Crawford was already into pay dirt. So at 4:57 here in the third quarter, the Knightstown Panthers go up 18-0 off of a first and goal run by Drew Crawford.
Well, you talked about conditioning. Conditioning could play a part in this, but again, being cold, players always say they don't feel the coldness because they're moving and keeping warm, but the cold has to come into play because standing around, those fingers have to get cold.
Well, that's true, they do, but I still think that these Knightstown players now are getting ready to make a 2-point conversion with 4:57 left to play in the third quarter, and it's not going to happen because on a fake handoff, Adam Richardson got in there and sacked Eric Scheinman for just a big hit on the evening.
Well, here's a trivia question for you. How many times tonight has either the point after or the two-point conversion failed?
Every time.
And that would be how many? You're not going to tap dance your way out of this one.
Let's say a free.
A free. Thank you very much.
You want flat dice with that? Okay. Oh, he always gives me trivia questions.
18-0, Knightstown on top. Eastern Hancock will get the football at 4:57 to play in the third. And again, Knightstown trying to go 9-0 on the season. First time it's ever been done in Coach Don Willard's 31 years at Knightstown High School. Eastern Hancock, on the other hand, trying to be the spoiler. And Coach Poff said that he didn't really care if they spoiled it or not. He said it's just a matter of whoever's on that side of the football, we're going to play hard.
So back to kick the football now as Kyle Rhodes getting ready to set the play in motion with 4:57 left in the third quarter. Kyle gets the ball up a little higher this time as it looks like it's going to roll out of bounds at about the 25-yard line. So we'll be re-kicking that little puppy one more time. Simmons will be back to receive. Also Broadwater for the Eastern Hancock Royals along with Weddle as we're going to re-kick this football from about the 35-yard line as Kyle Rhodes getting the tee all set up and getting ready to go one more time.
If you've noticed, Knightstown seems to be kicking to the right side of the field, and that's where Sean Weddle winds up just about every time. And I don't know if that's by design. I'm sure it is. Coach doesn't do much without a play or a plan, but they've come to the right side almost every time.
So the kick is away again by Kyle, and it's another squibber along the ground as Weddle goes to pick it up, and it bounces the other way, and another great kick. And look who's down there in on that stop also. Kyle Rhodes down there along with Ben Brooks and also Garrett Guillaume in on the stop for the Panthers. So that squib kick of Kyle Rhodes is really paying off this year. The ball will be put in motion at the 29-yard line of the Eastern Hancock Royals. So with 4:53 left to play in this third quarter, Knightstown up 18-0. Andy LaForge is wide to the right as the signals are being called by Mike Hardy. He has the split back set, and the ball is handed off to Richardson, and he is annihilated at the line of scrimmage by one, Jim Carmichael. Also in there on the stop, Joe Quiz and Jason Chapman. That has to really ring your bell out there when it's this cold and make you think, I'd not like to carry this thing again. A 2-yard pickup that time as the Eastern Hancock Royals are getting set up. LaForge is coming wide to the left as it looks like a 2nd and 9 situation here, and 4:19 left to play in this third quarter. Handoff to one of the backs who has found an opening. Matt Simmons running and running very well. Is out of bounds at the 48-yard line, and a first down. He is brought down by Adam Bonowitz, and a great run there by the Eastern Hancock Royals.
Well, Matt Simmons turned in the left corner and was not to be denied, kept those legs turning, picked up the first down, and very close to getting into Knightstown Panther territory as the ball spotted on the 47-yard line.
So the Eastern Hancock Royals, under the direction of Mike Hardy out there at quarterback, starting to move the football a little bit with 4:11 left to play here in the third quarter. Handoff to the second man through, Simmons, as he is stopped at the line of scrimmage. No, he's not. I thought he was stopped at the line of scrimmage. Looks like he picks up about 3 to 4 yards there as Jim Carmichael gets in on the stop for the Knightstown Panthers, but it almost a pickup, I'd say, of about 4 yards out there as Carmichael gets his 5th touchdown, tackle on the evening. So Mike Hardy, once again, setting these Royals into motion as the defensive unit for Knightstown packs in tight here. A handoff to the first man through, and he is brought down by Jim Carmichael once again as he picks up about 2 yards on the carry. So almost a 3rd and 5 situation, I believe, here facing these Eastern Hancock Royals with 3:15 left to play here in the third quarter. Knightstown up 18-0. Ball is on the 47-yard line of Knightstown. Long count by Hardy. Simmons on the carry coming around the left side. Stumbles, but still picks up some valuable yardage. Is brought down out there by Kyle Rhodes. Also in on the stop, Jim Carmichael along with Craig Ritchie. So Kyle's fourth stop on the night as Simmons brings the ball around the left side and handily takes the running game to the Knightstown Panthers for the moment. 37-yard line of Knightstown is where the ball is spotted after the run by Simmons.
Can you say momentum?
Yes, momentum. Yes, I can. Out of the I formation comes the Royals, handing off to Simmons again. But this time he is snapped up by Ritchie. We have a flag on the play, looked like over here to the right. I don't know if it's a spotter flag or what the situation was, but I saw one of the referees over here drop one. Looks like we're calling a face mask against the Knightstown Panthers.
Well, that was on Craig Ritchie. On the tackle, Ritchie reached for him and inadvertently hit the face mask and got his hand tangled up. So that's going to be Knightstown's first penalty on the night.
So the Knightstown Panthers now having that ball moved into their territory a little deeper than what I know Coach Willard would like to see, as it's going to be placed down here at about the 19-yard line of the Panthers. A 10-yard penalty with 2:33 left to play in the third quarter. Knightstown up 18-0 as the Eastern Hancock Royals now starting to move that football just a little bit better out there. Simmons on the carry after the handoff from Hardy, and he is stopped for a loss out there. Well, we have Carmichael, we have Quiz, we have Crawford, we have Landon Collop, we have Josh Plank. We have everybody almost for the Knightstown defensive unit in on that stop. I think after that loss of yard there, the Knightstown Panthers are just about ready to really start taking the defense to Eastern Hancock, as I'm sure that penalty upset them. It was inadvertent, but still it was a penalty and a good yardage. McCain and Simmons in the backfield for Eastern. Reverse by Richardson as he is taking the ball downfield, running handily, taking it back in, almost getting in for a touchdown, but finally, I believe, stopped out there short. Looks like the ball is at about the 5 or 6 yard line of Eastern Hancock. Great play there by the Royals.
That was great play calling by Eastern Hancock as Richardson took it and rambled all the way down to the 6.5 yard line. First and goal, Eastern. This is the deepest territory that they've had as far as penetrating Knightstown all night long.
I think the reversal really caught the Panthers off guard there as we are at 1:22 in the third quarter. The snap is made. Simmons on the ball carry, coming out wide to the right, runs into his own man, and then is finally brought down by a host of the Knightstown Panthers again as Craig Ritchie in on the stop, grabbing Simmons up by the legs and taking him down. The second tackle on the evening for Craig Ritchie, as the ball now looks like it is at about a second and goal situation here from the 7 yard line. As Mike Hardy now gets his Royal set up in the power I formation. Knightstown boxing in on that defense. Handoff to Simmons, and again he is eaten up at the line of scrimmage by Jim Carmichael. Big hit by Big Jim Carmichael. Number 8 in the tackle department on the evening for Jim Carmichael as he is in on the stop for the Panthers.
Big Jim coming to life. I saw him at Oktoberfest. We were talking, and he said he was so fired up for this game. And again, you could see him getting up, just kind of doing that little shake, like, let's get this thing fired up, guys.
Well, they're ready to play out there, and Knightstown, I believe, very upset by that penalty that they had, which was, again, an inadvertent face mask penalty, but Richardson going in motion to the right as Hardy falls back, looks to pass, throws long, and it is intercepted. Ian Hayes on the interception for the Knightstown Panthers. So, down with 2 seconds left to play in this third quarter, Knightstown up 18-0, and the Panthers intercept the ball on a very, very possible scoring play by the Royals, and they will take over the action at the 20.
So that ball was a little bit underthrown by Hardy, and Ian Hayes stepped right up in front, gets the touchback. So Knightstown will get the football at their own 20 with 2.7 seconds left.
We were just brought a hat. if you don't watch out,
it's a drawing.
That hat.
It's a drawing. I think they're supposed to pass that down. I don't think we're supposed to do that.
Okay.
I don't know.
The Knightstown Panthers now on the move with the football. Handoff by Eric Scheinman And the ball carrier for the Knightstown Panthers, Drew Crawford, as he advances the ball up to about the 31-yard line. So Drew Crawford, again, running with the great ability that he has, picks up the first down for the Knightstown Panthers, a pickup of 10 yards that time. So that will end the third quarter of play with the Knightstown Panthers up 18-0.
Let's take a 1-minute timeout. We'll come back for the fourth and final period of play. You're listening to Panther Football on Young Country 90.7 FM.
You're listening to Knightstown Panther Football on Young Country 90.7 FM, WKPW Knightstown.
Here at Young Country 90.7 FM, we believe in giving you the best of the best. That's why we've developed the Young Country 90.7 FM Top 10 Countdown Show. Twice a week, you can tune in to find out if your favorite stars in the countdown.
This is Alan Jackson.
Hi, this is Kix Brooks.
And I'm Ronnie Dunn.
And we're Brooks
and Dunn.
Hi, this is Garth Brooks.
John Michael Montgomery.
This is Shania Twain.
Hi, this is Tim McGraw.
This is Clay Walker.
This is Mark Chestnut.
Hi, this is Patty Loveless.
Hello, radio. This is Toby Keith.
This is Reba McIntyre.
This is Colin Ray.
This is Joe Dickey.
Hello, radio. This is John Anderson.
Hi, folks. This is Leroy Parnell.
Hi, this is Pam Tillis. This is Tricia Yearwood.
This is Brian White.
The Young Country 90.7 FM Top 10 Countdown Show, Saturday mornings at 9 a.m., then again on Sunday night at 6 p.m., only on WKPW.
With an 18-0 lead here at the start of the fourth quarter, we have 12 more minutes to play, and if the Knightstown Panthers can hold this together as they have done so far, Coach Don Willard, in 31 years of coaching, will have his first undefeated season. Coming out now, the Knightstown Panthers with the ball at the 30-yard line to start this quarter, and all of a sudden, Josh Plank calls time out immediately, and it looks like not before we can get the delay of game call. Josh Plank seeing the situation now on the play clock and tried to call the timeout, but couldn't get it done before the official threw the flag. So Knightstown now with the ball at approximately the 26-yard line, looks like, will again attempt to put the ball in play. We are up 18-0 against these Eastern Hancock Royals, but they have really played a valiant game of defense until that last quarter of action against the Panthers. Snap is made. We have a pitch out to Ian Hayes on the left side as Ian tries to turn the left corner and does so, but is finally brought down by Andy LaForge out there for the Eastern Hancock Royals. So Ian Hayes on a pickup that time of almost 4 yards, looks like out there, or I believe, brings it around the left side, and the clock now starting to run with 11:35 left to play here for the Knightstown Panthers on an undefeated season. Eric Scheinman running out of the power eye now as the ball is snapped. We had a bobble on the play that time as Scheinman bumped into Drew Crawford and probably slowed Drew down from picking up a couple more yards, but they got together on that handoff out there, and we have a pickup of 3 yards for Drew that time. And the Knightstown Panthers now advancing the football up the field. The ball is at the 37, 8-yard line of the Knightstown Panthers. Snap is made. We have a pitch out to Hayes going around the right side. Ian Hayes starting to turn it up on the right side and is at the 44-yard line. Simmons on the tackle for the Royals, and the Knightstown Panthers have picked up another first down. Looks like they're going to spot the ball out there at about the 44-yard line. So the Panthers on the move once again with the football.
Unofficially, Drew Crawford has rushed 17 times tonight for 115 yards. That puts him over 1,000 for the year, and he's had a big night. He's been the ground buster tonight, although Ian Hayes has had 8 rushes for 23 yards. Not quite as active here in the second half, but looks like he's about to get started.
Eric Scheinman taking the ball, handing off to Crawford as he starts to ramble upfield and picks up another first down at the 44-yard line of the Royals. So Drew Crawford picking up 13 yards on that particular carry, picks up another first down for the Knightstown Panthers as the Eastern Hancock Royals are starting to backpedal now on the defensive side of the football.
Well, Knightstown starting to blow Eastern off the football, causing some very big holes for both Hayes and Crawford. And again, the legs have to be a little bit tired after being out there for 3.5 quarters. So Eric Scheinman with the power I formation hands off to Craig Ritchie, who has taken a bump and now heads upfield, and he is all alone out there running. We have flags all over the place. I'm sure it must be a clip that we have out there, but Craig Ritchie really advancing the ball downfield, and I'm sure it's going to be nullified. Another time where Craig Ritchie this year, and this is about second or third time, Craig Ritchie turning a 33-yard run for the Panthers, but flags on the field, and we'll see what happens, but almost always in this situation, it's a clipping situation. Well, it was either Carmichael or Jason Chapman. They were both in the area, and looked like Jimmy Carmichael, because not Jason Chapman, but Travis Rivers. Looked like Chapman grabbed his helmet in despair, so it might have been Carmichael, but we'll see what the official call is, and it's going to be a holding. It was right in front of the official, and Carmichael knew it as soon as he did it. So that's a big one. That nullifies the score. So with the football at the 29.5-yard line of Eastern Hancock, well, we'll give her another shot here with 9:45 left to play in this fourth quarter of action. The Panthers up 18-0. Running out of the power I again. The handoff is to Ritchie, who is powering ahead on the carry and picks up, Josh Willis, the defense, on the defense for the Eastern Hancock Royals, but not before we have a pickup of 5 yards for Craig Ritchie that time. Ball is at the 24-yard line as Knightstown again bringing it up into a slot formation. Hand off to the first man through, Crawford, and Crawford on a pickup again of about 2 to 3 yards there for the Panthers. Knightstown really powering the ball ahead now, and the entire line collapsing and helping taking that ball forward. Drew Crawford picking up some more valuable yardage on the evening and really adding to the great yardage that he has had for the year. He's had a big night. He is close to about 140 yards right now. 8:37 left to play in this fourth quarter. We have Josh Plank wide to the left, working out of a slot back formation. Eric Scheinman calling the signals, fakes the handoff looking for a pass, and is now trying to run and is caught from behind. So Eric Scheinman taken down at the 27-yard line by Dustin Broadwater of the Eastern Hancock Royals. Eric kept looking to his left and could not hear the footsteps of Mr. Broadwater coming in, so we have a loss of 6 yards that time on the play. The clock down to 8 minutes left to play in this fourth quarter of action, and the ball is moved back to the 28-yard line. We are still in Eastern Hancock territory. A 4th and 8 situation here as the Knightstown Panthers go set 2 wideouts this time. We have Josh Plank to the left, Ritchie to the right. The handoff is on a draw to Crawford, and he is stopped on the play by Josh Willis that time. So Knightstown not having much luck on a 4th and long that time as Crawford got caught by Willis coming from behind. So it brings up a 1st and 10 for Eastern Hancock as they will turn the football back over with 7:36 to play. Hobbling off the field is Sean Weddle, and it looks like he's limping a little bit on the left foot. Might have got it trampled by that big front line for Knightstown, but nevertheless Eastern Hancock football. So Eastern taking over the football here with 7:36 left to play. Mike Hardy calling the signals one more time out there for the Royals as the ball is handed off to Simmons going over the left side, and he picks up, it looks like 4 to 5 yards out there, and is finally brought down by the Knightstown defensive unit, and none other than Mr. Jim Carmichael on the stop for the Panthers that time. Jim Carmichael having a big evening on defense out there. 8 tackles for Jim this evening. Pick up 5 yards that time for the Royals as Mike Hardy is trying to mount some type of an offense here and get these Royals moving, as Simmons once again is the ball carrier out there, and Jason Chapman bringing him down, but not until Simmons picks up 2 to 3
more yards there against the Panthers, and Chapman has his 4th tackle on the evening as the Knightstown Panthers trying to contain this offensive unit of Eastern Hancock, but right now both teams offensively able to march that ball pretty well out there in this 4th quarter of action in this cold night here at the Eastern Hancock Royal Field. Hand off to Simmons again, second man through as he goes around the left side, picks up the first down for the Royals. So Simmons having a big evening out there this evening for the Royals in the rushing department as Craig Ritchie, the first man in on the stop for the Panthers, and it looks like the ball is going to be placed at the 40-yard line of the Eastern Hancock Royals. 6:23 left to play here. The Knightstown Panthers up 18-0 in this 4th quarter.
Eastern's had good success running outside against Knightstown here in the second half. Didn't have much luck in the first, but second half they've had some really good success.
Mike Hardy once again handing off to Simmons. Simmons becoming the workhorse for the Royals as he goes around the left side, and rightfully so. This young man has been brought down this time by Craig Ritchie, and very close again to a first down situation. So Simmons does get the first down as they are now advancing the chains forward, and 6:01 left to play in the 4th quarter. Knightstown up 18-0, but this Eastern Hancock offensive unit now starting to roll, and Knightstown really having a problem containing this rushing game out there. Mike Hardy checking the Knightstown defense before he goes set. Ball is handed off again to Simmons. Simmons carrying and is really taken down that time by Kyle Rhodes as Kyle really pops Simmons for his 5th tackle on the evening. I believe that looks like Simmons may have picked up. No, he didn't pick up anything, I don't believe. There's got to the line of scrimmage as the clock is down to 5:20 left to play here, and the Knightstown Panthers facing the Eastern Hancock Royals here in a 2nd and 9 situation or so, as Mike Hardy trying to get the momentum going here for his Royals. Hands off again to Simmons, and Simmons carrying the ball for a pickup of about 3 to 4 yards. Josh Plank and Jim Carmichael in on the stop for the Panthers, as if anybody's going to key on anybody, I would say it would be Mr. Simmons at the moment, because he has become the workhorse.
Knightstown's kind of back on their heels right now on defense as they have been pushed all the way from the 25 down to their own 46-yard line, and we've got 4:35 to play, and Eastern's mounting a good drive.
Eating up quite a bit of clock out there, but a lot of territory for the Royals to gain, and a very short time to do it in that respect, as Simmons again carries the ball, and he has got to be getting tired, I would believe. Simmons has carried the last 5-6 times out there as Kyle Rhodes moves in on the stop for the Panthers. 4th and 3 situation. We have a timeout, and it is timeout Royals, and I'm sure it's so Simmons can take a break.
No doubt. Let's do the same thing. We'll take a 1-minute timeout. You're listening to Panther Football on Young Country 90.7 FM. All the time that separates Knightstown from an undefeated 9-0 season, but they've still got some work to do against Eastern Hancock as the Royals are starting to push the ball right down their throats.
Well, that's absolutely right. Mike Hardy handing off to Simmons each time, and it seems to be working for them. Hardy comes around with a pass, tries to make a pass out into the flat to LaForge. Crawford almost had that football in his grasp, and it's going to go down as a incomplete pass. Okay.
Drew Crawford had visions of running with that football all the way down to that there goalpost, and he took his eyes off of it and lost the handle on it. Nevertheless, on the incompletion on the 4th down, Knightstown's going to get the football back. And it's going to be at the Knightstown, what is that, the 43-yard line. So they've got 4 minutes and 5 seconds to ball control here.
So Knightstown bringing it up, going out to the wide out position on the left side is going to be Josh Plank. As we have the split back situation, the ball is handed off to Ian Hayes, and Ian gets the ball back in to about a 2-yard gain there, and is brought down very hard by 2 of the Eastern Hancock players.
That's Ian's first carry here in the 4th quarter of action.
Probably forgot what the football looks like. So with 3:42 left to play in this 4th quarter, the Knightstown Panthers up 18-0. are very close to going into an undefeated season, as Eric Scheinman calling the signals again. Hands off to the first man through that time. And I believe that was Crawford, I think. I'm not sure. No, Craig Ritchie, excuse me, on the carry for the Knightstown Panthers that time. First man through. And Craig picks up 2 yards out there. As the Knightstown team now, the ball down on the 47-yard line, a 3rd and 5 situation with 3 minutes left to play here for the Panthers in this fourth quarter, as they are inching ever so close to that undefeated season. Ritchie is lined up in the slot position. Out of the eye, there's the snap. Scheinman over the right side to Josh Plank, and Plank on the reception and is taken out by Wesley Broadwater for the Eastern Hancock Royals. The ball is at the 49-yard line of Eastern, so a Scheinman to Plank pass inches them ever so close to that first down, and there is 2:27 left to play in this fourth quarter. Knightstown up 18-0. Eric Scheinman back in with the play on this 4th and 2 situation, as the Knightstown offensive unit comes up to the line, working out of a T. Yes. Scheinman on a long count. Hand off to Crawford, trying to take it around the right side, and he is eaten alive there. So Drew Crawford trying to take that ball around the right side, and that entire line of the Eastern Hancock Royals collapsed on him, and the possession will now go back to Eastern with 2:02 left to play in this fourth quarter of action here at the Eastern Hancock Field.
Unofficially, Drew Crawford's rushed the ball 22 times tonight for 136 yards.
We have an official's timeout out there.
Looks like Collop's going to come off, and Chapman will come back, or not Chapman, but Nick Roush will come in.
So Mike Hardy now once again calling the signals as the snap is made. Hardy back to pass over into the right. It is caught by Simmons. He is hit and almost got away, and Simmons would have been to the goal line had it not been for Ian Hayes on a shoestring tackle.
Nice pass from Hardy to Simmons. That's the best pass we've seen Hardy throw all night. Now they're going to go without a huddle.
So the Eastern Hancock Royals trying to get onto the scoreboard and not let this one go down as a goose egg against them, as they are trying to mount an offensive drive here with 1:55 left to play in this fourth quarter. A nice pass from Hardy to Simmons. And I guess we have a flag that was thrown on the play. It's clear across the field, almost at the just off of the line of scrimmage, so we'll have to see what the situation is. So it looks like that play has been nullified and is being called back. I was trying to establish what that signal was, and
looked like you had a headache. I don't know.
Mike York is telling me in the very official way that he can that the official has a headache, and he's calling for some, I don't know, some aspirin. So Mike Hardy again calling the signals with the ball at the 45-yard line, and Kyle Rhodes has that football and is scampering towards that sideline. Kyle Rhodes is in for the touchdown as he dives into the end zone. A 44-yard touchdown for Kyle Rhodes. The pass play was intercepted by Kyle, and Kyle rambled her down and got the touchdown.
You see him dive that last 2 yards?
Joe Show out there got her into the area.
Oh, Chucky's got the right hand on tonight, doesn't he?
Yeah. 24-0. Chuck came over to the window and showed us the back of his hat says Rhodes on it, 51. So with 1:43 left to play in the fourth quarter, the Knightstown Panthers up 24-0 as Josh Plank is going to try for the extra point. The snap, the ball is down, the kick is up, and it is good. How many times tonight has Josh Plank scored on the extra point?
Once.
Very good. But I'm on it.
Throw trivia my way. If I don't get it, I got it.
I was just seeing if you were still awake. I thought those 5 hot dogs had put you to sleep.
Yeah, you haven't seen 5 hot dogs till next week, buddy.
So the Knightstown Panthers finally, after a very tough half of play by the Eastern Hancock Royals, have started to be able to advance the ball and advance it very well against them. I think, again, as we have told all year, I think the conditioning of the Knightstown team has really showed in the second half, no matter what team they have played against, as we're getting that tee set up and getting ready for that kickoff to the Eastern Hancock Royals.
Again, Knightstown just continues to wear you down and wear you down. They do the things that get them there, and they once again just go right at you, time in and time out, and eventually it's, you flex and eventually you break.
Josh Plank on the kickoff this time does a little bit of a squibbler himself, and Eastern catches the ball and goes down immediately. So it looks like Eastern's going to take over the ball on about their 37-yard line. Jesse Mullen on the reception of the football that time, as once again the Eastern Hancock Royals will put the ball in action at about their 37-yard line. 1:41 left to play. The Knightstown Panthers up 25-0 here at the Eastern Hancock Royal Field.
John Carmack makes his first entrance into the ball game tonight.
Mike Hardy trying to get this offense rolling here, starts calling the signals. The Eastern Hancock Royals working out of the power I, hand off to the second man through Simmons, and he picks up absolutely nothing. A host of the Knightstown Panthers, Kyle Rhodes on the bottom of that pile, initially in on the hit, along with Craig Ritchie and a slew of those Knightstown Panthers, as they were really keying on Simmons that time. The clock is running. 1:18 left to play, as the Knightstown Panthers about to take an undefeated season over to Coach Don Willard and hand it to him and say, Coach, there you are, buddy. We've done everything we can for you this year, and this group of young men really have. As Mike Hardy once again calls the signals for the Royals. Hand off to Simmons again as he goes around the left side, and he is tripped up. I think was initially tripped up by Craig Ritchie coming by and just grabbing a leg, but Simmons, this kid has got to be tired this last half of the football game. He has really packed the load for those Eastern Hancock Royals. And now that Knightstown cheer block over there, all those families that have come, they're really starting to get crazy and wild now, because it's 32 seconds left to play and they have an undefeated season. They've really got something to cheer about, as once again the ball carrier for Eastern is stopped at the line of scrimmage, and the Knightstown Panthers down to 15 seconds away from an undefeated season as the clocks continue to wind down. The crowd's going wild, but the football team's still hanging in there and just looking like they should.
Well, this one is academic from here on out as the clock winds down 2-1. That's going to do it. Knightstown goes 9-0 on the 1997 football season. Eastern Hancock ends the regular season at 4-5, headed into sectional play next week, and luckily they will be at home right here at the Royal Field. That's got to make them feel very, very good.
That's where I wish we were next week, but I don't think we're going to be.
You aren't kidding.
The Knightstown Panthers playing an excellent season this year, as we've talked about all year. I really feel that the conditioning has taken them to where they are, along with that great coaching staff that they have. But these guys came out this second half and started to play just as if it was the beginning of the game, and they've really, really done a super job this year.
Well, they have. They've got a lot to be proud of. They have done things that no other team has ever done, and this ride is not over as we're headed into sectional play next week. Of course, we go to West Washington all the way down to see the Senators. It's not a good trip. It's not a fun trip, but nevertheless, we're going to make the trip. So we will head south, and that will be next Friday night. I understand kickoff is at 7:30, and they moved it back a half an hour. They wanted to go at 8 o'clock, and Don Patton, the AD for Knightstown, said he would rather have it earlier, so they did settle on 7:30. So we will be on the air at 7 o'clock, and what time we'll leave is yet to be determined, because it's a halt.
So I'm going to take my blanket and pillow with me.
Yeah. Better get you a pacifier, too, because if you're sleeping, I'm sleeping. Not while you're driving. That's the way it's going to go, big fella. Let me just tell you right now.
Okay, I understand.
Well, it's going to be a long trip, and I sure hope a lot of Knightstown's faithful fans can follow the Panthers down there, because I think on an even playing field, if both teams were well rested, got together on a Friday, did not play till Saturday, I think Knightstown would definitely get the edge, because I think Knightstown's got the tools to beat West Washington. But with that 3-hour ride, and once you get down there, you waste 3 hours waiting, trying to recuperate from the drive down. As we talked coming over here, you're spent. You're tired.
You really are, and if you look across the field, there's a ton of those Knightstown faithful still in the stands over there watching these guys, knowing that they've seen something spectacular, an undefeated season, and we're really proud of this team. As we've told you all year, these kids play with an attitude that is second to none. They have just shown great sportsmanship and great play all year long, and the Knightstown Panthers going into this sectional will be a team to be reckoned with.
Well, Knightstown has got their undefeated season, something that they set out to do back in the early months of June when they started hitting the weight rooms. That was something that they wanted to achieve. They've achieved that, and as we said, the ride is not over yet. They've still got a long ways to go, but if they can get by that first one and get by West Washington, Milan, as we said, not that tough this year, although they've only lost 3 times. They are still not the team that they have been in the past, and I'm sure Knightstown would love to have a shot at them, which they could get. A lot of things could happen, and Knightstown could conceivably get a hometown or a home game in the sectional, but a lot of things would have to happen. South Decatur would have to lose to Edinburgh, and chances are that's not going to happen simply because Edinburgh hasn't won a game all season. So we'll have to wait and see, but Knightstown not going to have a home sectional game unless some things do come into play. And if they don't, it's possible if they could continue in the tournament, they could get a home game in the regional. But, again, we got to get by the sectional first.
That's absolutely right, and you know as well as I do that Coach Willard and his coaching staff and those players out there aren't looking toward anything except next week's game right now. This one's over with. This one's history. There's nothing to talk about. We won it. So let's start looking at this competition we've got to face next Friday, and let's go to work.
Well, that's what we'll do. Let's go ahead and take a 3-minute timeout. We'll come back with some final game stats, and hopefully Coach Don Willard can make his way up here to the press box, and we will wrap this thing up in a hurry and get out of here and get rested and ready for next week. You're listening to Panther Football on Young Country 90.7 FM.
Atkins, Lawrence, Austin promo, take 1.
One night, one stage, 3 stars. Ball State University and Young Country 90.7 FM welcomes Trace Atkins.
I left something turned on at home, but I swear I'll love you for the rest of mine.
Tracy Lawrence.
That's how a cowgirl says goodbye.
And country newcomer Cherie Austin.
For Hancock, and of course Knightstown goes undefeated on the season, 9-0, and we are lucky to have the seniors coming up now to talk with us. First man up is Joe Quiz. Joe, heck of a game tonight, big fella.
Thanks. The whole team played pretty well tonight.
It seemed like Eastern Hancock threw up a pretty tough defense to begin with, but you guys just continued to wear them down. You stayed with what worked, and you guys never stop. And I think conditioning, we've talked about this all season long, and conditioning has to play a big part of this.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. I mean, they came out pretty intense because it was their senior night. And, you know, we just went ahead and played Panther football for the whole game. Sometimes it takes a little while to get the routine down, figure out what they're doing. But after we did, we just straight put it on them.
I'm going to ask each one of the seniors the same question. You guys be thinking about this. What's it mean to you guys personally to be 9-0? Personally, the only undefeated season, Coach Don Willard, you guys were lucky enough to hand it to him first time. What's it mean to you?
Well, it goes a little bit more than just playing football. I mean, we're all family. I moved here just 3 years ago, and I'd kill myself for any one of these guys. I'd take a bullet for any of them, and any of them would take a bullet for me. And also, we got to mention Lisa Renee Anderson, who passed away this summer. We told her mom we dedicated the season to her, and that's one of our motivational factors, probably the biggest motivational factor, and we're not going to let her down. We're going to the dome, and she'll be watching.
And this thing is not over. This ride is still continuing, and you guys kind of put an exclamation point on it tonight. Congratulations, big guy.
Thanks, sir.
All right, we'll see you next week.
All right.
All right, next up into the press box, we'll see who's going to put the phones on. Looks like Travis is going to get those things on. We'll talk to him momentarily. And, Travis, I don't know, man, you're becoming a radio star here. This is the second time you've been up here.
Yeah.
Big game. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What was it like out there tonight? Eastern Hancock looked like they were ready to play. As Joe said, this was senior night. They were pumped up, fired up. But you guys, again, the shape, you guys just kept going at them. You did what worked. You did what has always got you guys the wins this season. And eventually, they just wore down in the end.
We talked at halftime. They just kept sending backers in. I mean, everywhere. I mean, they're sending all for them. And we just went down into the wedge and just started moving the whole defense as a group. And that just started working for us. And Crawford started running the holes just perfect and getting the ball up there. And we just started wearing them down, like you said.
Looked like the third quarter you guys just started opening up these huge holes, because in the first quarter Drew was having some problems on 2- and 3- and 4-yard games. But it looked like in the third quarter you guys busted it wide open and you started blowing them off the line, off the defensive line anyway. And it looked like the holes just were humongous. You could drive a truck through.
We were just talking down the line like if we could Xbox or cross and double team and some, and that just threw the linemen back into the backers and just left it wide open.
Well,
Travis, was there a time tonight? We noticed a lot of times, more so than in the past, that there was some confusion, like with the running backs and the handoffs and things. Was it a case of the nerves, maybe a little bit, thinking about going undefeated, something like that? Because you guys just normally just run it so smooth, and it's so fluid that you don't see any mistakes. And there weren't big mistakes tonight, but there was a lot of that, excuse me, bumping into each other out there. I don't know about everyone else, but I sure was. It's just the first time there's ever been an undefeated season here in Knightstown, and I know I had the nerves. I was real nervous coming into the game, and it just seems like once we get a quarter, 200 belts, we just start, it's like clockwork, and we just start going.
Well, I think like Mike said a while ago, a lot of times it's been the conditioning, because you guys are in such good shape. You pound the team down, they say, hey, I don't want any more of this, let's quit and go home. Well, I don't know about, I can speak for myself, but you guys can all gang tackle him if you want to, because I thought you guys played an outstanding game. Travis, thanks for coming up. We're going to get some of the other guys in. We'll see you guys next week down south, okay?
See you. Thanks.
Once again, Knightstown goes 9-0 on the season. Here comes Coach, and we've still got some seniors to talk to. Up next is Josh Plank. Josh, a big night. Kind of like that wide receiver thing, don't you?
Yeah, we had to change things around since Johnson was out for this week.
Looked like you like the wide receiver, and Richie likes the running back, huh?
Yeah, it worked pretty good for us tonight.
You guys look like, once again, you started out a little bit slow, but I think we've got to give the credit to Eastern Hancock. They were fired up, ready to play defense, and you guys just wore them down. You kept going with what works, and like Joe said, you guys had something to shoot for. You wanted to dedicate this season to a special person, and so far this ride's not over, is it?
Yeah, we're playing pretty good right now. Halftime, we just talked about blocking. We had an area block. We were going after too many men. They were sending so many people, so we started area blocking, opened up some big holes in the second half.
What does this season mean to you as far as going undefeated? This is something that's never been done in Coach Willard's history here at Knightstown, and you guys kind of gave it to him on a platter tonight. What's it mean to you?
It's awesome, man. I can't even describe it.
It's kind of an emotional scene, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you better get some clothes on, man. We don't want to get you sick before next week.
I'm freezing to death, and you stand up there without anything.
We'll see you next week. Coming up next, we got Drew Crawford, and Drew had another big night tonight. Unofficially, we had him